Okay, what's going on, boys? No guys here. Welcome back to the video. In today's video, we do have we got Syria squad builder 100k. Now listen, Syria right now is the best, probably the best team to get, very simply because of the players that are available. I'm going to give you my suggestions on what I think. Well, listen, let me explain this. This is a meta team, okay? This is, we're not going to see no centre backs with 60 pace. This is going to be fun teams that are meta. Look, my job is not to produce a team that's rubbish. My job is to produce a very good team that will do you a very good job. Now, I'll be honest, Syria is the best league right now because you've got players like Immobile, which are ridiculously cheap right now, 8k. I mean, this guy's going to, of course, swiftly rise up because of the price of fodder. But for that balance, 4-star weak foot and that shooting, it's one of the best players that you can get in Syria. So if you can't afford Dybala, then of course Immobile is the best to get. Insigne, of course, one of the best left wings in the game. Got decent long shots. What I would say is either put him in a camp, put a dead eye on him, and there you got a long shot beast. Got a good agility and balance, decent pace. And you can basically play anywhere along the front, left wing, right wing, cam, second striker. You can play as a 10, you can play anywhere. And then we're going with one of the best strikers that money can buy, and that is Muriel for 1.2k. It's an absolute fast. For those you remember my FIFA 19, 15k team, he was my striker when he was in La Liga, if I'm not mistaken. And we go ahead and put a hunter on him. He becomes a top tier card. Got the top tier finishing, top tier sprint speed, 4-star, high, medium, everything you want. And of course, he does have the flair trait. If you like to do his Rabona shots, but I'll be honest, we're buying him mainly for the finishing and for the agility balance. One of the best strikers that money can buy. For the right hand side, we go with Chiesa. You can go with Lozano if you're low on coins and you've got about 80k and you want to edge this to about 100. Chiesa is a really good card again. The same thing. He's got the long shot power. And I'll go with a hunter on him again and get his finishing up. And again, a 4-star player, high, medium again. I'm a top tier card. He's gone down swiftly, but I think he will stabilize around about 13, 14k up for the next week or so because he's still a top tier card. Got the stamina as well, and he's got decent passing. Now, talking about midfield, I'll be honest, there's loads of players. You can go with Zielinski, you can go with Barella, you can go with Kessie. I've gone with Kessie just because although he costs a lot of money, you're going to see that his stats are just formidable. You put a shadow on him, you've got one of the best centre mids high as well, and one of the best centre mid box to box in the game. So definitely he goes into the team. There's not even a question of doubt in regards to that. You do have other cards alongside. You do have Barella, the likes of that. If you're on a bit of a budget and let's say, for example, you want to try to fend some players anywhere else, Milinkovic Savic is too slow. I wouldn't use him. But you got the likes of course, Barella. Barella is a good card. You have Rabiot, which is a good centre mid. You have Vera 2. I think that's how you say his name. He's also a very good player. You also have Pellegrini. Zielinski's got the 5-star weak foot. And those are players that would be at a cost-effective option. You do have Torreira for the CDM, but I'll be honest, with the money that you can buy, you can realistically go for Barella and you can go with Kessie. They both work very well together. It pushes the team very much to the 86k mark. You're probably thinking, how do we have enough money to make the rest of the team? But don't worry, we do. For the left back, the problem is there isn't that many Syria left backs that actually have pace. So you can see, for example, here, the biggest issue we have is that a lot of these guys are very expensive. You have Hernandez and Spinazzola, which are 14k now. There's no point in spending that kind of money on those players because it's really not worth it. We're going with Haps. Now, Haps used to be a guy who used to play for Eredivisie in that league. I used to get the link, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the same Haps. I hope it is anyway. Maybe it's not actually. But there used to be another guy called Haps. And I remember I saw this card and I was thinking, you know what? You put a shadow on him, get the job done, put an anchor on him, get the job done either as a left back or right back. Got the agility and balance as well. So definitely a card that's really worth saying. Now, for the centre backs, it's the exact same thing. Now, the best thing about Syria, it's one of the most cost-effective leagues. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and get the Skriniar or Koulibaly. So when you're going to a 200k team, most definitely you get those cards. But you've got cards like De Vrij, which are very cheap and very cost-effective. Now, the best cost-effective price performance, I would say, is like De Vrij and stuff like that. But if you want the meta players, I would say the cards you want to go for is the likes of Manlas. One of the best cards in the game for 5,000 coins. If this guy had been in the Premier League with these stats, probably be about 50k minimum. So that is, of course, Manlas. Excuse me, I'm very dehydrated, I suppose you can say. Now, for the goalkeepers, it's up to you. Handanovic has been nerfed from what he once was, and I would probably prioritise on height. Now, I'm an Arsenal fan and I dislike Szczesny. So I'm going to go ahead with Szczesny. But to be honest, when you're deciding a goalkeeper this year, I think positioning, like I've always said in many years, is very important. So whatever you do, make sure they have good positioning. Handanovic's got the better positioning, but his diving is shocking. Now, diving is also important for the finesse shot meta. So try your absolute best to get someone in like that. I'm just going to go ahead and put Szczesny in, which have already done that. Then for the centre back, I don't want we've gone with. We're going to go with a very, very simple option of Tomori. Again, just because of the pace. If you want to, of course, cut it down, you can, of course, go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and put Tomori here if I could find him. That is, but he's a very, very good player. And of course, he's English. If you want to create like a hybrid team, let's say you want to go for the Wan-Bissaka's, great English team, the English hybrid with Godfrey and all that. Of course, go ahead and do that, because don't forget Godfrey and Wan-Bissaka, they're both English, so you can actually get quite a good duo in together. The same thing on the left-hand side is for Syria. You've got Cuadrado, which is very, very good, very expensive. Dumfries is too slow. Then you push it to Lazzari or delete Di Lorenzo. I mean, I would personally take the hit, and I would go with forget Di Lorenzo and get Lazzari, because Lazzari's got the better pace. At the end of the day, pace equals recovery, which in turn equals a better defense. And to be honest, when you put anchor on him, he's got really good agility and balance, and he's got decent stand tackling anyway. So is it the end of the world? Probably not. Yes, he lacks in the jumping, but back post crosses for now are not that effective. So how do we play this in game? So if we're going to be talking about a 4-2-3-1, which is a lot the main meta way, I suppose you're going to say, of going about it. I'll play Immobile in striker, Insigne and Cam. And the good thing is with this front trio is you can adapt them. So if you want someone with better agility and balance, just dump Muriel there. And you put Immobile and Cam for the finesse shot abuse. So you have the free roam. And that is how I would do it in a 4-2-3-1. If I was going to be playing a 4-4-2, a bit different. The choice I would go with is Immobile and I'll go with Muriel. Left mid or right mid, I'll put Chiesa and Insigne, Kessin, Varela in centre mid. And of course you're playing the 4-4-2 second variation with CDMs, Varela and Kessia would be there fine. And I would say put one of these, maybe the most attacking player like Kessia on balanced. And that's the way that I'll do that. If you're going to be playing a 3-5-2, which is the new edition now, my best advice if you're playing a 3-5-2 is go ahead and buy someone like Lozano. The reason why is if, let's say you go to a 3-5-2, and it's completely fine, you can do that, you're going to end up having, for example, one of your left mids playing over there. So what I would say is get rid of this hats, right? Sub on Lozano. But this is only if you're going to be playing 3-5-2 the entire game. If you're not, then of course don't sub on Lozano. But let's say you're losing on to 3-5-2. This is the way that I will line it up. I'll probably put Manolas in the middle just because very simply he's the slowest. And you want to put the fast one on the outside. Don't worry about the right back and centre back too much. They've nerfed defensive awareness, but it isn't too much of an issue. And Chiesa, Lozano, Insigne, and what I'll do, put Insigne as a cam. Got decent long shots in Mobile and Muriel up front. And then if we go over to the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation, either one, that's same as the 4-2-3-1, just a wider variation. The 4-1-2-1-2 second variation and the 4-3-1-2, they're very, very similar. The exact same layout now. Again, here you'll be putting in the likes of Haps back into the team. And if you know you're playing the 4-1-2-1-2 the entire time, instead of getting someone like Muriel, you can probably sub these guys out. So there's a lot of plays you can get. So if you go to Syria and we go to attackers, you could basically put any of these left wings that can play a very diverse role. So if we go over to the second page, that's where most of the diverse players are. You see you've got Kulusevski that can play a pretty good job. And we've got all these other players. Now, Gosens is a really good card. If you're looking for a very cheap card that can do everything, I would recommend getting Gosens. Now, I know, for example, he's in Bundesliga. Just bear with me. But the reason why I want to show you, Serie A, the reason why I want to show you is because, yes, he lacks the balance, but you see, he can do a bit of everything. You see, he's got the pace, the shooting, the pass and dribbling, and the defensive awareness. So if you put a hunter on him, let's say, for example, I don't know, you play him, so let's say put Gosens instead in the starting lineup, then that would be a very good team. So we go back to the starting line, let's say a 4-3-3, and you just put Gosens in midfield like that, or you can play him in left wing. It's up to you where you really want to play him for the chemistry. But you can put someone like Gosens there, or you can swap him with Insigne. Just put him there as a placeholder. That way when you go into a 4-1-2-1-2, at least he can play as a centre mid. So you can put a striker there. I'd recommend keeping Chiesa into the team and playing him there. But if you're not too sure, just line it up something like this. And then you can put Gosens over there, and that way you got Muriel and Immobile striker and Insigne and Cam. But that is, of course, the Serie A team. When you get enough money, just go ahead and get Dybala. But anyways, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.